Hello, my name is Ellen, and I'll be correcting this essay for you today. Let's take a look at what you've written. It's the one about prisoners. So here's what you said. People who have been in prison with the proven result that they become good citizen is the best subject to deliver the message of preventing the crime to the teenagers. My general opinions are derived from experience that they have, government's beneficial takeaways by cooperating with them, and the psychological aspect of teenagers. Okay. Um, let's see. There are some grammatical things happening here, so I want to talk about those. Another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that I kind of felt like, no, here's the thing. Let me backtrack. I don't really love long introductions. Okay. I think they're a waste of time. There's really no purpose in spending your 40 minutes on a very long, drawn out introduction. However, what's missing for me is the sort of, how can I say this? The sort of dilemma, the argument here that, maybe they're not, so maybe that there's an alternative. Maybe they're, do you understand what I mean? You went straight into your opinion, okay, that they are the best people. And then, this sentence, I believe this because of this reason. So for me, you were missing a sentence that more or less introduced the debate here. Okay. So just something along the lines of it, just essentially a rephrasing of the topic. So it could have been something like, with rising juvenile delinquency rates around the world, authorities are looking at who could potentially be the best um, person or people to help dissuade youngsters from a life of crime. Okay, and then your next sentence makes sense. Okay, so you need something a little more general on that first sentence, and then you can do what you've done here. All right, and then, like I said, there were some grammar things, so I want to go over those really, really quickly. So people who have been in prison with the proven result that they have become good citizens are the best. I didn't like Pete's subject. Are the best, maybe, you could have said people again, honestly. Or what you could have done is instead of using people here, you could have used a synonym for criminal. Okay. So you could have said ex-convicts or ex-prisoners, or how about reformed prisoners? Okay. Or reformed convicts. You could have said that. So why don't we try that? Reformed convicts who have been in prison with, actually, it's who have been released from prison because when they leave. So reformed convicts who have been released from prison with the proven result that they have become good citizens are the best people to deliver them. This is awkward here. Are the best people to, how about what I said before? Dissuade teenagers from committing crime, or are the best people to talk to youngsters about crime. They're the best people to communicate with teenagers about how to avoid crime. So something like this, some sort of rephrasing, but this was awkward here, okay? And then let's see. I don't know if you necessarily need to go into all of this too. All right, I would have really just liked here, honestly, I am in full support of this idea, and will discuss my or will expand upon will expand upon my opinion with examples and arguments from whatever, from research from Harvard University, um, from a recent article in the New York Times. So there were things you could have said there. You didn't have to go into all that detail right there. Okay, we spent a lot of time on your introduction. I'd like to move on. So to begin with, they are the subject who has been in that life-changing situation. Careful here. So who is they? I don't know who they is. You might assume it's logical that you're talking about prisoners. It's not. It's a brand new paragraph. You just had a ton of subjects and nouns in that previous paragraph. So it's not clear. So when you're starting a new paragraph, you do want to restate things clearly. So you could have said, to begin with, ex-prisoners are the ones who have been in a life-changing situation. Again, that life-changing situation. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I mean, in a logical kind of way, I mean, I can understand what you're talking about, but in terms of an essay, the argumentation, it just doesn't work. So just restate. So to begin with, ex-prisoners are the ones who have experienced the life-changing situation of prison. They have the experience of committing crime, getting caught, and completing the sentence. All right, you have to make a parallel structure here. Experience of, and it's 3 different experiences. So it's experience of committing, of getting, and of completing. They understand the dynamics, therefore, they can deliver the best words or advice to teenagers because teenagers are the groups under common knowledge, are people who is filled with curiosity. I don't know what happened in this sentence. Because teenagers are, you know what, just clean this up. Because teenagers are filled with curiosity. Done. We don't say under common knowledge. We can say as is common knowledge. Teenagers are eager to find their identity through experiencing any activity, singular. Therefore, by having people who obtain the comprehensive experience. I don't understand that language. The vocabulary is wrong. Therefore, by having people with comprehensive experience deliver the impact of the action, teenagers could understand and decide that committing, ing, is of no benefit at all. Okay, so obviously grammar is something that I want you to look at. It's pretty consistently in every sentence. I had to correct something, so I want you to be a little careful about this. Also, there were some vocabulary things that created some awkwardness. Okay, so these are things that I want you to look at. Furthermore would have been better here, not further. Furthermore, people who have been in jail have the utmost interest to keep their record clean, not cleaner, clean. This is encouraged by proving the right evidence that they are living their life as good citizens. I don't really understand this. This is encouraged by proving. I don't understand what this is saying. I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to say that they have a vested interest in doing this and talking to youngsters because they want to prove, yes, in fact, I'm still clean. So that's what you're trying to say. But what you're saying here, the way you phrased it, really doesn't make sense, I'm afraid. So government authorities can utilize them to do this as social work. Policymakers can make a proper incentive. You don't make a proper incentive. You can provide an incentive. So policymakers can provide a proper incentive for them to talk to teenagers. I don't like right cooperation either. I don't like good incentive. These aren't collocations. So you're putting words together that don't go together. Okay. You could have talked about maybe good cooperation or solid cooperation and good incentive. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can accept that then. It's just the right cooperation that sounded odd. So solid cooperation and good incentives, S, can be the push factor so that they can, all right, we don't say conduct the talking, so that they can engage in discussions with teenagers. They can show the teens that they can bounce back from their devastating past life to a promising future that they are chasing, so it would be beneficial to the government to engage with them on this initiative. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to tell you something else that I would have liked here, but we'll talk about it and after your conclusion. To conclude, by reviewing their past life, their interest to keep no, to keep their record clean would have been fine, and the psychological nature of teenagers. Ex-prisoners are the best option to talk and give understanding. I don't like that expression. To teenagers in the simplest and modest words that crime shall lead to no brighter future. Okay, fine. So I liked a lot of your ideas. I thought they were good, but the grammar really needs work. You could see that consistently in like every sentence I had to correct something, and that can create a strain for the examiner. Okay. I want you to work on that a little bit. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is you decided to talk about, fully just why this is such a great idea. And that's fine. You can do that. You said it was really good for the teenagers, and you also said that it was really good for the government. So I'm fine with that. One of the things that I want to point out to you is this idea of best. Okay, so they are the best people. I think another really good way of doing this, and I think it leads to a really rich essay, is talking about who they're better than. Okay, so if you're going to prove they're the best, I think an important part of that is showing who the comparison, who the competition is. Okay, so who are they better than, and why are they better than them? So, for example, couldn't a police officer talk to youngsters? Couldn't teachers? Couldn't coaches? Couldn't maybe people who were at risk, who then didn't engage in crime, couldn't they talk to youngsters? So when you see something like this, best, there's this inherent comparison that they're asking for. And so I think that that also would have led to a really interesting, really rich essay. I think what you wrote was fine, but this is just some suggestions for you as you continue on your IELTS journey. As you look at some of these tasks, the language used is really very deliberate. Okay, so that's some stuff I want you to think about. All right, now I believe you have another essay correction coming up. I think I saw it in the emails, so I'm looking forward to it. I want you to adopt some of the things, apply some of the things I've talked about today, and I'm really looking forward to that next set. So good luck to you.